get back in rhythm. These teams have never played each other, by the way, with your current lineups. Even with Zeus on GAMBIT, they never played against Envious before. The last time that these two organizations played against each other was almost a year ago, back in September of last year at DreamHack Open Bucharest. And that was back when Devil was still on Envy, so even before Sixer had joined them. So that was quite some time ago.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they're going to clash heads. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of bloodshed. The game comes and goes, and this round is gone all the way of ended. Drawing blood across the board. Mo and Hobbits. Last two remaining C3 players, and not for much longer. RPK has laid Hobbit down, and that's going to be all on Mo with 4 health. As good as he is, as good as he's been playing today, surely this is already the pistol going the way of Envious. And they look really good against G2. I think a lot of people will be surprised that G2 did get beaten by them, but Envious certainly deserved the win.
Yeah, I mean, XMS has been slowly coming into his own. Again, it was a little bit of a rough start when he first joined Envy, but it seems like he's really started to kind of get more comfortable and play a lot better. I think when you have the likes of Scream on the team with the rifle, who can be quite dangerous, and RPK, who sometimes is undervalued, certainly was a strong kind of third player to the supporting cast of Shocks and Scream on the previous G2 team. Has done pretty well here as well throughout the tournament. So they've had a lot going for them as far as firepower goes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that as they dominate that pistol round. There wasn't really a whole lot of resistance from GAMBIT on that one. So Envy will go ahead and jump up to a lead here. But of course, GAMBIT looking to force up. Upgraded pistols across the board. Mo will have a head armor scout, thanks to the 2 kills he got in the previous round. We'll see what he can do with it, if he can put it to good use or not.
Something that GAMBIT have been doing quite often after losing the first round is going in for a scout. Oh, looking for that pixel to execute on the cross. I feel like we did see a player or two actually go across there, so the call will come to a Dren, but he's not able to do anything about that. Secret is being battered by Envious. 4 players already down here. Hobbit with his CZ trying to peer down, but the decon stairs of Dozier is eliminated alongside Hobbit. Very reminiscent to the previous round, it looks like. In a couple of moments, it's going to be all Mo. This time with a 1-on-5. Now, it would serve him well to save the scout into the next round. There's no real hopes of him getting this clutch. It's just which position do you sit in right now to save the scout is more the issue. Because surely he'll get hunted down by one of these Mac 10s. Oh, Happy just gets obliterated. So will Mo. 2-0 to Envious.
And it's definitely worth noting that Nuke isn't really high up on the map pool of GAMBIT, to be 100% honest with you. They have only played it offline a handful of times, the last time being way back in April at DreamHack Austin. They've had kind of mixed results offline with it. Meanwhile, Envious have really struggled offline on Nuke, but online they've been pretty sharp, and we saw them use it throughout this tournament to pretty good shape, particularly in the quarterfinals matchup that we saw yesterday. As they're already up 2-0, they're up against a fully saved GAMBIT, just USBs. So this should be easy pickings for Indy. Happy's already found one. Actually gets clotheslined by Dozier, however. So making things a little bit interesting, but that should soon resolve itself as Envy capitalize on this upper bomb site.
Mo and Dozier, last 2 left. AK in the hands of Dozier. Bomb has been finalized. Envy now off to hunt again with the SMGs. Definitely want to take the AK away from Dozier. Would bolster their buy pretty nicely in the next round for GAMBIT. And he has been spotted and will be taken down. It's a bit surprising that he'd even be peeking out from that position. Mo may be able to land the frag. USP at that range is going to suck against armor. And down he goes. Only losing Happy.
And we saw Envy get 12 rounds on their T side against Hellraisers at the opening matchup of this tournament, and you're going to be seeing a lot of that outer smoke wall throughout this game from them. They really like to just kind of do 4 people down, secret into back halls, happy kind of lurking lobby, and just really use that to attack the lower bomb site. That was like one of their favorite tactics to run in that Hellraisers series, so I expect to see a lot more of that. But they certainly have a couple of other ways they can approach this, a couple of different ways they can just kind of play default or do upper executes, but nonetheless, definitely a very assertive team. Like to take a lot of early initiative in rounds, and we already do see Scream setting up some utility to maybe get something done here soon over towards the lobby and radio room.
Yeah, still just feeling out their options, pushing through into main. Dozier can hear footsteps to his left, and he's going to be able to see 6 up. Bomb does get dropped out. Dozier's going to try and play in the smoke a little while longer, buying up time for the rest of his team. Mo nearly decapitates Adren, but it's the RPK that comes through for both the kills, and suddenly this is switching in favor of Envious. The round that Gambit desperately needed to respond to. We'll see Hobbit with just 1 health. Be careful, Hobbit, jumping out there with 1 health. That scared the crap out of me, never mind what his team must be feeling right now.
Oh man, the crater would have been real, as he is actually going back up to heaven. He doesn't realize that the bomb has already transitioned through the vents down the lower in the back of XMS. We'll be planning it here in just a moment. There he goes behind the silo, and with 1 HP, I mean, Hobbit doesn't really have much of a prayer. Saving the M4 and head armor is probably the best bet, to be honest.
Depends how much pressure Gambit are putting on themselves to start well, because of course this would be the rifle round going away from them. It would be a 4-0. Hobbit's going to close the door, tap the bomb, and see what happens. He'd love to have a kit at this stage, but he doesn't, and down he goes. Just 1 bullet required. XMS will deliver 6 and 1 for him, 4-0 for Envious. Shifting through the gears, looking very good indeed.
Indeed, you just have to wonder about the familiarity with Nuke for Gambit. I mean, I'm sure they haven't really played it with Fitch before, and with Adren calling. So that's like 2 changes the team has gone through since the major, and this is the first time they've met Nuke since then. Not only that, but it wasn't really a big part of their map pool to begin with. That could help Envy along here, who are off to a good start. Looking for that 5-0. Fitch looking to get aggressive, and Hut. RBK cuts him off at the pass. Easy headshot for him. Wow. Okay then, RPK. Well, sir.
That's some sick fragging, regardless of whether it's an or rifles. Right?
Wouldn't matter what that guy had in his hands.
He's getting his head chopped off regardless. So, maybe one of the reasons why Scream sticks to tapping. That spray is not quite the best we've seen. Has been playing well throughout today, though, so we'll let him off. Happy. We'll claim the kill onto Mo. Got a dink for his troubles, down to 9. And Gambit, not only is it looking like they'll concede yet another round, but not going to take too many players with them unless Hobbit can really start to shift through the players. Both Scream and Happy are low, to be fair. XMS only on 32. There are avenues back into this round. Especially as he's taking down XMS downstairs. He's not able to get his hands on the weapon just yet. He's not sure as to where the rest of Envious are. Maybe I wrote off Hobbit's chances too soon. Scream, gonna make sure he doesn't crater. Using the drop. Bomb has been planted. Smoke down into main. And A through as well. And Hobbit's seemingly going to be trying to get his hands on the weapon that he took down previously of XMS, which is a Mac 10. And see if he can get something to work with this. Second kill goes his way. Happy goes chasing, and we'll give an AK across now to Hobbit, which definitely isn't what was on the cards for Envious when you're in that 4v1.
So Hobbit able to carry over an AK and armor into the next round, as well as forcing some rebuying out of Envious, who have plenty of money to do that, particularly with XMS, who has almost $15,000. He's almost maxed out. And we're only getting into the 6th round of the game, but certainly helps out Gambit not having to spend that money. Their economy is in poor shape, and they're on the CT side, so saving every penny counts for them at this point, so good on Hobbit for that, as we will get into another gun round here, another chance for Gambit to see if they can't find something on their CT side. As Sixer and Happy are looking to put a little bit of pressure outside, as they will boost Sixer up with the AWP, as he's going to look and hunt for anyone who's going to be peeking here, but no one's showing themselves. Meantime, we're having a bit of an exchange here at Radio Room, as Hobbit will lay down a smoke. XMS has already taken some damage here, but they just kind of fade back into lobby. Oh, Mo misses a chance.
Envious haven't really been able to capitalize on that, though, not forcing them outside. So that shot, although it whiffed, although it's not a kill, ultimately it doesn't seem like it's going to cost them too much. XMS down to 66. 1 minute to play with exactly now on the board. The clock will start to become an enemy too if Envious don't start to get a move on. They've got the opening pick. Ramp now opening up. Dren's going to be the next player to peek off the turn, but Six is there for a second. I'm going to check up on the boost just to make sure there's no shenanigans forthcoming. And another kill going away of Envious. Gambit don't seem to have anything at all in their back pocket.
Oh,
and to make matters worse, Fitch has just got completely brutalized off XMS.
You hate to see that, Vince. That was rough to watch. And you got to think you have XMS dead to right when he's stuck on the ladder like that, when he's able to get a kill, and really just everything when Envious is way there. It was kind of a standstill at the beginning, right? When you saw the opening op exchanges it outside and neither hit the shot. But then you see Sixer just roll the AWP out in ramp room, and Scream finds a kill on Hobbit, and all of a sudden the round's pretty much done and dusted, and Envy up now 6-0. Very dominant stuff from the French side here on Nuke thus far. You have to wonder when the timeout from Gambit has to be coming, because they're, I mean, after this they're going to be on another save if they lose, so the pressure's definitely on Gambit.
Yeah, and how often do you see a Dren on 006 as well? He's having a really rough day at the office. So maybe that timeout just to allow some of the players to relocate themselves in their mind space and figure out what the hell's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a timeout next round if they lose this one. At least I hope they will.
Good opening pick.
Sure. They have got the opening pick, but I think that at this point they're not sure as to whether someone vent dove or not. Adren's in there now, so they should be able to clear that one out and know that that's not the case. But the smokes initially, with Squeaky, were really causing a couple of question marks. Nice frag by Mo, much better. Now this should be their round. They can't afford to lose from this position.
It's certainly the best look they've had on Nuke thus far. Free kill at ramp to start it off, and now they've collected a few more to go with it. Hobbit will add to it, putting a stop to RPK, finding much more out of that initial entry on the ramp room. So it's just Sixer and Scream left. They do have a little bit of time on their side, but still an uphill battle to fight up against 4 members of Gambit as Scream tries to sneak outside.
Not much time left. Scream's looking for those one taps with Dozier. Dozier won't let it happen. I think he may have just seen Sixer hop down the vents. Sixer misses a no-scope. And Dozier will splatter him all over the wall. It is the first round for Gambit. We need to keep this going forward. Can't afford to reset themselves.
That's the scary thing. I mean, you take that first step towards coming back, and that's all well and good, but you're not out of the woods yet. You lose a round like this, you're right back to saving. That's where Envious can really make you pay for it. They've already had a roaring start to the half, and you do see them setting up the outer smoke wall. And the smokes and flashes are coming out. Sixer and XMS going to be following that up to try to get out here and get into the mix as quickly as possible. Sixer, no AWP, but he's got the AK and he's out in front. That's a good incendiary to slow down Envious from getting in back halls and give Hobbit time to jump through window and actually be here to greet them as they come through the turnpike.
Outside again, down into secret already. Gambit haven't been able to do too much about this, but now the crossfire is being established. RPK onto Hobbit, screaming, meanwhile headshot onto Dozier. Things are opening up nicely all of a sudden. It has afforded Gambit the opportunity to rotate down through ramp. You can have 2 players there, both Mo and Adren, on either side. But Envious will pull the plug on this potential B hit. They're getting the hell out of that. They're keeping GAMBIT on their tiptoes. I like this play, I've got to say, because the heavy rotation did come in straight away. A knee-jerk reaction. A player on vent will be Fitch, and he's gone down. Now 8 is very much open for business. Adren for 1. Won't be getting a 007 today. No agents in sight. But his team are getting completely manhandled at this stage, and Mo has to pick up a 1v3 if he wants to clutch. All 3 players are low, however, but he's got an AWP. Does have a kit, does have a smoke, but I don't think he wants any part of this. He's out of there.
Yeah, good initial play from Gambit. Again, to slow down the outside push with some utility to give Hobbit a chance to get down there. Dozy even dropping through vent, so I mean, they had people in position, but Envious just out trading them all the way through, and then the mid-round decision to call an audible and back out and make their way into the upper bomb site, and just making sure they kind of paid attention to the vents, and knowing that would be a popular place for Gambit to rotate. They held that off well also. I will say it's a little bit closer than you think. I mean, 3 of those players for Envy that lasted did have very low health, so I mean, Gambit almost took a crack at it, but unfortunately for them, close is not enough, as they will have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to put a buy together in this round. It's not even an ideal one, and if you lose this, you're basically having the full save the next round, so Envious is in such a powerful position at this point.
For those interested, by the way, the maps, obviously Nuke first, Train, and then Inferno. We go the distance. This is the choice of Envy. So you'd expect them to pick it up, especially from this start that they've had. You've already seen Gambit and Mo in particular clean house on Train earlier against Big. Envy is slowing down the round, not trying to play aggressive outside, not trying to impose their will and force the pace of the action onto Gambit.
Yes, again, we see Scream trying to creep outside. That's the big thing with this new version of Nuke, obviously, is outside access so much easier to get as a terrorist, particularly the rafters that Scream's traversing, but Mo is onto it. We'll find the first blow here. Adren looking to see if he can't find something for himself as well, but Happy holds him off.
But with the UMP, going to do what he can. Up close and personal, there's one. Traded out, and now Happy. He's going to be able to traverse out. But Mo will take his 3rd kill of the round. Looking better for Gambit. Still, definitely not out of the woods in terms of economy. If they lose this, they're right back in, up the creek. But Envious at least can force.
Absolutely. Winning that round was pivotal. Without it, they would be looking at potentially a 9-1 before they could buy again. And even then, they'd be kind of in rough territory on what guns they'd have to work with. Despite losing, Envious still actually have the better buy into this round. That's just how grim things have gotten for Gambit's money. We once again see them going for that 4-man push in the secret. This is their favorite tactic, and they're going to be able to make it down, but they're getting greeted by Adren up close with the back 7, and he's farming the dollars with a couple of kills, but XMS does eventually trade.
He's done his job, though. Not just 2 kills, but a bunch of damage. Vital information, allowing Gambit to stay in position and not have to worry about rotating. Control of the bomb. Adren worth so much in this round, and Fitch will pick up the rest. So it's a slow start for Adren and a slow start for Gambit, but their fortunes seemingly turning around now. It's actually Envious that are going to feel the economic pinches. They are into an eco, or at the very least just a few pistols.
And Gambit maybe beginning to salvage this half. I think it's just a good read from them to kind of understand that Envious, when they send those players down secret, they're pretty much committed to it. And even if they're not, you'll detect them falling back. So just getting up close, getting that max up in their face was well worth it. As Envy are looking to do something fast on a pistol blind, RPK does just clean Mo's clock as he makes his way down the vents.
Now onto the side, XMS with a beautiful 1-deke, and Envious have already taken down 3 kills. In the most unlikely of buys, they're making this stick. They've got a 4th. They're going to pick this one up flawlessly. Yes, they are. XMS with another headshot. And when it rains, it pours for Gambit. Just when you thought they were getting back in the map, just when you thought they had some kind of momentum behind them, some foundations, they've been gutted out.
They literally only lost 40 HP total on the Envious side in that round. That's about as clean as it gets. RPK kicked it off with a great push through door, and the next mess with the 1D off a good pop flash. So making the most out of very little is Envious, who will hold Gambit off from getting another round, as now it is 8-3, and again Gambit's backs are up against the wall when it comes to their money. So was Envious, to be fair. But it's definitely Gambit who will be hurting more. They have 4 guys on $0.
And they managed to salvage this somehow. Mo with the first, the retreat back to the site, but Dozier's gone down. And with this smoke being down against the screen, knows exactly what's coming up. Last bullet will land. Looking for the frag. Sixer will take it. And it looks like Envious will take it too, unless Hobbit can clutch. A 1-on-3. First has gone his way. Both Envious players piecing out down in vents. Gonna get that bomb planted. Put the pressure back on Hobbit. And to be fair, he is going for this. He's not interested in more saving. Realizing that rounds simply are too important at this stage. Economy doesn't mean anything. And if you lose the half, like 12-3, 11-4. But his incendiary's gone into Toxic and nobody's home. And that's going to be the round done as XMS gets him in the back. 9-3.
Here are the repercussions that Gambit must suffer from falling prey to that save from Envious. And then losing the follow-up. It's a round where they have nothing to work with. Envious having a great opportunity to find double digits here on their T side nuke, just like they did against Hellraisers. They had 12 in that game. 10 seems to be right on the horizon at this point. Scream's already found one. Fitch does respond pretty quickly.
Early doors once again. Not much time has passed, but already 3 of Gambit gone past their sell-by date. Dren, USP in hand, is somewhat behind enemy lines. They may not expect him to be here, but the USP is going to let him down. In a P250, and he would have had that kill on RPK. Instead, double digits for Envious with Gambit. Onto a buy, but again, it's not great. They're all around mid-4,000s, so you're not going to see an AWP in play for the likes of Mo, who'd love to have one.
Right.
They're not going to have a huge amount of nades. They're going to have 0 kits. I mean, this, in terms of a full rifle round, this is actually really lackluster.
And you can't shut anything down. Like, you don't have any Molotovs to stop an upper push, like a really fast upper push. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't have any utility to stop back halls pushes either. Scream knows that. He's going to run outdoors.
Excellent call. 6 up. Finishes off what he starts. Partially through the wall, and 6 are onto a Dren as well. Heaven can wait. Envious. I'm going to pick up another round more than likely, and the position that Gambit are in probably just save these 2 M4s.
Yep. I mean, that's just literally the perfect call as a captain of a T-side team on Nuke when you know CTs have no utility. There's just nothing you can do about that upper push. I mean, you still have to respect outside. And with this map, this version of Nuke, you have to commit like 2 players a lot of the time to kind of do something outside or give it up entirely. And then usually someone's going to be kind of playing at least like a ramp rotator or something. So you know you're up against like 2 guys. And there's nothing to stop you from opening door, coming out hut, come out hut window. Like there's just nothing there. So I mean, it's just the perfect call, and it works out well for Envious. They're now up 11-3. And nothing gets saved over, right? So Gambit in the last round of the half, again, very little to work with.
They are skint, as we'd say in the northeast. Straight up broken. 2 Mag 7, 2 MP, Deagle, Scout. You never heard that before, skint?
No, definitely not.
Fair enough. It means piss poor. Nothing. Nada. Nout.
The funny thing is you said skimp and you said straight up, so I thought it was like an acronym.
Oh, nope.
For a moment there.
It hasn't started particularly well for Gambit in this round either. Envious showing no remorse, no retreat, taking no prisoners. Just in for ruthless frags, going for the jugular. Dren peeks out, looking for information. He's found it, but he can't really do anything about it with a Mag 7. But he can if he relocates. gets up in the face of Happy and just wrecks him in the head. Still player advantage remains for Envious. Not for too much longer, Nosy with a double D. He's going to make this round a bit more interesting, but Sixer, who's been really on point these last few rounds, is able to cave in Hobbit, and the plant will come. Adren has been spotted in heaven, and Scream will do the rest. A brutal first half. Gambit will be happy that's over, and if they're not careful, this map will be too.
Yep, just a mirror image of Envious's T-side from yesterday here on Nuke as they put up 12, not leaving Gambit a whole lot of room to work with. A couple of mistakes, and this map is over with, and Envious will be one away from moving on to New York and eliminating Gambit. Of course, the next maps coming up are definitely going to be a bit more familiar territory for Gambit, but also not too shabby for Envious. So we have a potential. I mean, if Envious was able to beat G2 and Gambit to make it to New York, I mean, that's actually a hell of a run.
Yeah, that's a legit path through to New York. They definitely would deserve it. Short Gambit, a bit weakened right now, with Finch coming in for Zeus. But to be completely honest, Finch has been playing well. Not so much on this map, but so far today and yesterday has been turning some heads.
I'll be curious to see how they do at Malmo.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be his first true test. Like online CS, definitely not the same as offline. Nowhere near the same pressures, the same expectations. At Malmo, we'll see what Fitch is really made of and what Zeus and his absence will do for Gambit. Because, of course, now Adren has picked up the leadership role. That's also going to change the dynamic of how Gambit operate.
Yeah. Not overnight, though. I think that you'll see Gambit still play mostly the same, kind of use the system that's been there, just try to run it with Adren, but I'm sure they'll throw in some new stuff. I have seen them at times pick up the pace a bit more, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for both sides, and Avi being the other end of that, obviously, with Zeus returning home, so to speak. But let's not get too far away from this game, as Envy are looking to see if they can't finish Nuke off. Pistol round in the second half is underway, as we are going to see Gambit looking to challenge outside very heavily. There's no one there to meet them either, so they'll make their way down the secrets with no resistance. But Scream is maybe looking to do a quick flank or get down Vince, but there is a terrorist left behind to catch this.
Fitch with the bomb in his hands is going to be running right with the rest of his team, trying to get onto the site as quickly as possible. Adren with the headshot, point blank range to Happy, maybe on for another one, and indeed RPK drops to his death. Oh, Adren's not done just yet. Another one goes his way. Fair enough, XMS was already very low due to Fitch. Now Sixer, 1 on 4. Has spotted at least one player in the vents. He's incredibly low. Will be finished off, and Gambit, they're going to delay the end of this map a little while longer. For how long is yet to be seen, but Envious have already shown that when they have pistols and Kevlar in their hands, they're still capable of taking you down. So Gambit cannot take anything for granted.
Yeah, really well done by Adren there. He's had quite a rough game, but with that quad kill, he's starting to get himself back up there on the scoreboard. They still have a long road to go, though, if they want to pose a real threat to Envious, who are still well out in front. With the pistols, you do see them doing a bit of a stack here towards the upper bomb site. One kind of peeking outside from heaven. He does get caught. That's Sixer. XMS now trying to push through, but Dozier is there to greet him with the UMP. And one by one, Envious begins to fall, but now you see a couple of kills coming in. Happy even finds a Galil, and maybe he finds Hobbit. He does, and Scream comes in. The bomb's down. Everything has just come tumbling down for Gambit.
I wish I could act surprised this is happening, but I'm really not. However, Adren may be about to dig his team out of a very deep ditch. He's just spotted Happy, and he gets the clutch with the 4K. Man, did Gambit make that hard for themselves. They're going to get the round all the same.
I feel like Envy could have chilled out, though. They had the bomb down outside. Happy was sitting there on top of it. Maybe could have played that 2v1 out a little bit better and actually won the round. So I think Envious will be kicking themselves if they missed that opportunity after all the work they had put in. But Gambit obviously breathing a sigh of relief that they weathered that storm because it was looking really dicey. As we do see Envious here just on some P250s and a couple of Deagles.
XMS onto Dozier. Envious maybe with another crack of the eco whip could get something to stick. Mac 10. UMP. Couple of assault rifles. Expendable weapons on the side of Gambit, but after losing 4 in the previous round, they really don't want to give too much away. Because the likes of nades and Kevlar costs will start to rack up. And again, wouldn't you know it, Envious have got the opening 2 picks.
That's tough, because you're not even up against armored opponents this round, Gambit. This should be the sweep.
Definitely. These are the kind of rounds that you expect, not just pick up, but pick up with at least 4 players left alive, and now Scream's gone in for another. This time, Mahuandig. Galil has been assumed by Envious. Happy enough to stay in position for now and not really go too far out. Oh, Fitch! No, like this. You can't lose that trade, mate. That's shocking.
Oh, man.
Someone give that man a slap on the wrist.
Someone go check and make sure he's okay.
Yeah, he may have done worse to himself, to be fair, after that.
Oh, man. That hurts. That hurts a lot. If Envious flawlessly win this round with no armor, that is pretty unreal. Definitely do. There's no time. Maybe Adren will get an exit or 2, but it's like he's just holding on to that AK and head armor. Can't blame him. That's a good amount of value to stick with. And so, yeah, it's a flawless victory for Envious. After already having done a fair amount on the force buy, it came down to a 1v1. They didn't win that one with ease. Crazy, man.
Of course, we're saying how Fitch is fitting so well to Gambit. He's dropped to 4-14 so far, and a poor spray cost him dearly in the last round. I'm sure he's red-faced after that. Meanwhile, Adren, long range, takes down Sixer. Looks like they're going to try and bounce back and maybe break the economy of Envious now, return the favour. Hobbit onto Happy. Envious trail by 1 with Scream low. This could be doable now for Gambit. And it changes angle and spray out of Hut. And that's so nearly bagged him another kill. Unfortunate not to get it onto Fitch. But XMS, a monster in the first half. 18 and 10. Maybe it's his time to strike. There's the first. Looking for a second. Won't be happening, Mo. Up to the task, and Gambit do. Go straight back in. And knock Envious down a peg or 2. They have enough funds to buy an RPK, but everybody else is broke, so it's likely it's going to be a half bite. At most.
So despite the run of fortune of winning around with no armor, it is still Envious getting a reset at the end of the day, and so they will have to concede having guns for now, but we've seen them do a hell of a lot of work in this half with pistols already. Won 1 round and then had another one come down to a 1v1, so Gambit have to be very careful on how they approach this. They're already well behind. You don't want to be giving rounds for free to Envious like this.
At least this time, Fitch is going to be able to drill 2 players. Sixer has his back turned to Fitch, I guess. He wanted to fully commit to at least 1 kill. Fitch going to bag himself 3 in total. There is a second player in control room, and I doubt that he'll expect that. It would be quite the mistake if he pushed on the site by himself. He's got players around him. There's no great rush. There's still a minute left. Well, you can see he has no idea what's about to hit him. Up pops Happy, takes him down. Bomb gets dropped out. It's still not game over yet for Gambit in this round, but that's going to be pretty rough for them to deal with. And Happy does knock down Dozier, just 2 health. Gambit hold on for dear life and do claim the round, make it their own.
Yeah, so good on them to finally get past the force buy shenanigans that Envious has thrown their way. And Envious will again still be without guns in this round. Again, that reset, they're still in the ripple effects of that. So a couple of Deagles on Scream and XMS, a couple of P250s, that'll be about it. As Gambit are looking to planted up some smokes outside and put that wall up. Very common for Nuke. It's almost like mid control on other maps, like just getting the smoke wall, getting outside control, then working from it. And that is what GAMBIT has on their minds, but a lot of the focus is actually over here towards lobby still. They will catch XMS peeking the broken down door.
Well, next round, NB could have 2 AWPs if they so choose. I'll have to wait and see what happens. They've been sharing the burden of the double AWPs today. Scream's had it a couple of times, Happy's had it as well. So we shall see if they even go in for it in the first place. But this round is as good as done, as Happy has been found in top 6 and gets punished. Hold on a second, RPK comes in for a kill alongside Sixer, and Sixer's now in a position where maybe he can actually strike. The bomb's been dropped out on the site. Dozier and Dread remain. And Sixer just came charging straight through the He is no man.
Wow, that would have
Down
been
he
sick.
goes. Nice try, really nice try. I bet he scared GAMBIT livid there.
Because when the fire went down, he heard the window break, and I think he knew he had a 1v1 as he came through the fire. Just didn't quite get the planter down. So yeah, definitely an NT, but it is GAMBIT who've been able to get up to 8. They've actually won the last 3 rounds in a row, so they're really starting to find a rhythm here on the terror side. But this is Envious's, like, it's like the biggest spy they've had all half, to be honest. They have an op included, they have the rifles, they have the utility. And we'll go ahead and put Incendiary down, making sure that no one's going to be able to push Squeaky for free off the bat.
No early push outside by GAMBIT. Put the Dread out there, but he's going to be sitting in for now. Hobbit's up on the catwalk. Just next to the upper vents. Scream having a quick peek. He's got players around him right now. Not too much utility left for GAMBIT. They've only got 2 smokes and a molly, and we have just shy of a minute to play with.
Trends made a lot of headway outside, by the way, and Fitch will catch RPK getting aggressive inside lobby, so this is looking pretty decent for GAMBIT. They're getting some good positions.
Yeah, Hobbit's just whacked down Sixer, and Hobbit's going to go in for a second as well. Happy still lurking in the shadows of Secret. Needs to get a move on and help XMS out. But Fitch is here, he's waiting. Easiest kill that he'll pick up today, and XMS is now down to 19. Looks like GAMBIT are going to edge ahead one step closer to making this comeback a reality. And at this stage, keep in mind that Envious will be into a save. They're going to start to get a bit nervous now. This has gone from a pretty huge lead into not that big, all things considered, when the economy and the CT side is put in play.
And they're not even going to get to say this AWP. Doesn't look like Fitch is in great position to put a stop to it, and there it is. So it's going to have to be another just upgrade pistol buy coming out of Envious in this round. So I'll have to take a full save, essentially. They are approaching max loss bonus, so they could buy down to about $2,000 and still be good to go. And certainly they've proven to us that they can make some magic happen when you give them a couple of upgraded pistols and maybe some armor thrown in the mix.
Man, I don't know if I like this. They must know that Envious are pretty much broken and will have pistols, and they've gone for double AWPs on their T side. This is the kind of setup that could cost GAMBIT massively.
That's a bit interesting. Double op on T side nuke is definitely not something that many teams will do.
No. And especially when you consider that Envious have a very small amount to play with in this round. I mean, you assume they're not going to force. They have 4 rounds of loss bonus coming up, so they could go for pistols and Kevlar and still have a solid buy in the next one. So you're expecting to see CZs and Deagles come in play. Maybe even a UMP for somebody like Happy or RPK, depending on if they want the extra power spike. But either way, this does worry me a little bit, having double AWPs on T side.
I'll have to see. Sure, one of them will be used to go outside, maybe another to watch radio or look for a pick some other way. Dren is usually the one who would tote a second op for Gambit on T side, so it's in familiar hands in that regard, but it's just definitely an odd map to do it.
But people are saying 1 AWP was saved. Yeah, we know, but 2 AWPs on T side still is a big risk. Surely you'd want an extra AK to deal with a potential pistol presence on a site where they're going to be holding close angles. Especially from a map like Nuke as well. A lot of it is quite claustrophobic, up close and personal. But we'll see. We'll see how it works out for them. Smokes have been deployed. Nothing else for Envious in terms of utility, but they have plenty of firepower. 3 Deagles and 2 P250s.
Yeah, the critique wasn't about money spent, it was just about having them in general. And one of them, or excuse me, one of the players of Gambit's already outscreened putting the Deagle in.
Exactly. It changes the pace in which you can execute and the pace in which you can move when you have double AWPs. You have to play around them. One of the positives, I guess, of losing Dozier is he can actually trade out the AWP for the AK instead. So it mitigates some of the issue. But now, of course, they're lacking a player, so it's still going to be a pretty big gap that Gambit have to worry about.
Scream looking to post up on an aggressive angle here inside hut. As this crosshair trained on the corner, waiting for someone to peek around. As Fitch is up there, and he creeps down just as Scream comes out, and what the timing is perfect.
Oh, God.
An AK collected.
And then just feel the sodium level rising. And Scream with his AK is going to spray down Adrenaline Moat. Changes his attention to heaven. But hurt by Sixer, and Scream finishes him off as well. Gambit. It's going to be an ace, actually, for Scream. Just to put extra accolades. Not that he needs them. The guy is so damn good. But Gambit have let a massive chance go missing. Go begging. And they are going to definitely regret that.
That is another force buy of Envious coming through for them. The second one they've won this half, I think. Third one came down to 1v1 they wound up losing, but the point is they've had so much success with these pistols, it's definitely haunted Gambit throughout Nuke. And now there's just a couple of rounds left that Gambit can afford before this is said and done, as we do see Adren chasing down Happy in the back halls. He will get the kill. Sixer found one as well, though.
However, Envy seemingly tripping over their own shoelaces, or are they? RPK and Sixer untangled the knot, untangled the web that Gambit were trying to weave. Mo 17, Fitch even, on 100.
Yeah, I don't think he's a small bird.
Don't know why I keep wanting to say Finch. I guess it just rolls off the tongue a lot easier for me. But either way, Fitch. Yeah, he's going to be making a move through. XMS is above him. RPK chilling behind the vents. I see him spinning around, trying to figure out where these players are. He knows there must be at least one on the site. Gonna flash and actually hits both of the defenders here. RPK, though, is able to rummage together a double spray. 6 map points for Envious.
Yeah, they certainly are in prime position to take their map pick at this point. The T side was on point. They've let Gambit close the gap a bit, but here in the home stretch, they seem to be up to the task thus far, as now they will have even an easier time, so to speak, as Gambit are just going to be on some Tech 9s and Deagles, very low utility as well. Meanwhile, all the equipment that Envious could ask for is at their disposal. As again, we do see outside presence by Gambit in a big way. 4 players pushing out here, looking like they're even trying to get into CT spawn. 6 are cutting them off, though.
Be not far away now from landing this first map. Dozier trying to push through, and he's going to go down alongside XMS. They've done it. Envious claimed the first map. It was theirs. Train is up next. It's where Gambit definitely will be stronger. Well, that's a hell of a performance by Envious, and they are 1 map away for qualifying for New York at ESL 1.
It's also fair to say that Envious aren't any strangers to train. It's their most played map online, and they don't do too bad on it, so they will certainly still have a crack at GAMBIT, despite the fact that GAMBIT may be the more, I guess, prestigious team on train when it comes to where their victories come from. But nonetheless, it is Envious one step closer to New York, and we will see if they can finish the task here in just a bit. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring a map 2 between Envious and GAMBIT, so stay tuned, folks.
It's what you've been waiting for.
These guys are on top of the world, and it's all done. Astralis winning. IEM champions.
They want the trophy and they've got it. NIP.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Going to be absolutely electrifying. I can't wait for this.
Indeed, New York is about to get dumplit.
Oh God, Snacks, have you ever just stolen in front of me?
It is going to be unreal.
I'm telling you, this ESL, this Electronic Sports League is going to get nothing but bigger.
Welcome back to our grand final coverage, the qualifiers for ESL 1 New York, the EU portion. We have NA coming up later. And it does laugh in the background, no idea what's going on there.
Thorn's latest tweet was just too good. I'm sorry. I can't even read it. I can't even read it.
You're not going to make me alt-tab and check it.
I just sent it to you on Steam. Make it easier. Go check out Thorn's latest tweet, folks. Good one. It's a banger. Anyway.
Brilliant.
So we are now going to get into what might be the final game of the day and of the tournament. Maybe. We'll have to see. Obviously, Envious took care of business on Nuke, so they're up 1-0 here in the grand finals. We're now moving on to Train, which was the pick of GAMBIT, and this is a big map for GAMBIT, to be honest. I mean, you're kind of seen for a long time as a one-trick pony on Cobblestone, but Train was one of the maps they really added to their map pool. It's actually a big part of their run at the Major. They won it every single time they played it, including against Astralis in the quarterfinals and against Immortal in the grand finals. And even though they've made some changes, Train is still really a good home for them. Envious don't really have the same pedigree on the map, but they do play it a lot online and actually aren't too shabby results-wise, so...
Did you just mute yourself halfway through that sentence?
What?
It's like you cut off right halfway through for me.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Am I going crazy? It's possible. It's been a long couple of days. He did cut off. Right, sound.
Sorry. I think I hit the wrong... I think I hit my mute key by accident. It happens.
Solid.
Wow,
well, here we go
this is
anyway.
Really nice to me.
Well, I'm into the pistol. Envious and GAMBIT. And be seeing which of these teams starts off in winning ways. GAMBIT on the T side, happy at the back of the site. And has just witnessed his teammate die ahead of him. And Mo, pardon me, decides, may as well change my pistol. Well, it's going to get himself killed. Happy for seconds. It's traversing past. There's a wild confrontation happening in Connector, and it's going to go the way of GAMBIT to start things off, at least until Fitch gets picked off by XMS. I know the two-man squad of XMS and Happy are trying to get their samples to the site, but they're getting tagged up, they're getting fragged. It's all on Happy, he's picked up the kill, he's going to get the defuse as well. There was a kit that dropped right next to him, to be fair. But he's got it anyway. He gets a 4K, Envious claim first blood on map 2. Happy, it's literally next to you, mate. There you go.
So Envious do come up with it. A lot of credit, of course, to Happy with the 4 kills. Can't really beat that, to be honest. As we will see them go ahead and start buying up, of course. A couple of MP9s are going to be in the mix on Scream and RPK. 2 UMPs on Sixer and XMS. And GAMBIT will go heavy-handed on this. I mean, they do get the bomb plant, so they can get the full force of scouts and tech 9s. It is a little bit choice. Usually they would save and just buy in the third in a situation like this. So taking a little bit more of an aggressive approach. First time I've seen them do this, really, this whole tournament. They've been pretty conservative otherwise.
Yeah, a bit more slow and steady. Two scouts. Range, they're going to be certainly quite difficult to deal with, but again, on the T side, you're wondering if this is a realistic possibility. They've got Mo, who's boosted up, looking at the back trains. Second smoke will go down on ramp. Seems that GAMBIT are going to think twice about hitting B again. Pop Dog in their eyes as Fitch will drop down alongside one of his teammates. Screams out there with an MP9. The way he's been playing, for me, he's been one of the MVPs of this online event so far. Flirting with Pop Dog more than anything else. GAMBIT go back up towards the B side. RPK is laid on the site.
Such a weird buy, by the way, for doing an inner push. 2 scouts to push inner.
Yeah, pretty unorthodox. I don't think it's going to work out too well now, considering the kills are starting to come in. But Happy's gone down. He really should be taking a player with him. There's a molly on connector. It stops the initial push. It's going to be a slow retake, but with Mo solo and Dozzy on 53, this is going to be rough. I think Sen Hobbit has made one of those scout shots stick. And Screamy will die. XMS. Here's the adversary. Mo and Hobbit, both with scouts. Not really the kind of weapons you'd want in this scenario. They've got a CZ though in Hobbit's hand. Down he goes, and so will Mo. going to be envious for the second round. Going to be another close one on the defuse, but just about get it.
Indeed, so Gambit go for the 4 spot despite getting the bomb plant where you normally see a 3rd round buy, and it does not pan out. And like I said, double scout just seems really weird for the tactic they wind up going with. I mean, Gambit definitely has a tendency to do inner executes, there's no doubt about that. So I'm not surprised to see inner execs, but with double scout, it is kind of crazy. And then on top of that, they force again because they got another bomb plant. They are just chasing after Envious right now. I mean, I guess they feel that Envious is doing a lot of rebuying in these rounds, and they want to chase after that. But it could just be a carrot dangling on the end of a stick at this point, because Envious is not letting them have it. Scream just, it's raining mid, and Scream is doing work. Screamy making me creamy, Vince. It's still the best sign in esports I've ever seen. Oh my. Go ahead, Adren.
It would be a trend as well, wouldn't it? Having a good troll. As if he's gone back in and is getting kills. What is life at this stage? I was waiting for Happy to push him. Has landed the scout shot.
Oh boy.
So awkward.
What is this round?
UMP bullets. RPK's dropped the bomb, and that should be the round following it. Zixer up the backside.
Would you like to explain that round to me, Vince?
Memes.
Alright, well, there you go. It's probably the best one-word summarization of it. As I think Gambit finally do see that the chase has come to an end. They have nothing to show for it, and so they will just take a P250 buy in this round, give themselves a chance to recoup some funds. They have been recklessly throwing money at Envious, and it has not panned out.
Oh, Sixer really didn't give himself much reaction time, but still nails Mo on Ivy. Dozier running across to the site. Bomb's not in his hands. That's going to cost him bomb plant. The RPK probably would have pushed him anyway if he gone for the plant, but still Gambit 4-0 behind after, of course, conceding that first map. So this is getting a little bit shaky already, although early stages of train. They can easily bounce back, of course.
Yeah, it seems like this is probably where you're going to see Gambit get back to their tried and true, just kind of slow, steady default. You know, let Dozier work Ivy, let Hobbit work Enter, give Mo a chance to put that AWP to use. And it looks like he will be bringing it over to Ivy with Dozier. Now, Sixer will be here with his AWP as well, and he does have his scope trained down the Ivy lane. No peeks coming off from the T side just yet. We do have RPK getting a little bit aggressive on Hobbit. Enter Halls actually pushes him back. Also have some forward presence by Envious on T connector as well, and actually pushes all the way inside. In the meantime, Mo does take Sixer out.
Although the trade has gone back and forth, information hasn't really fell on Envious. There's so much time left and no one flanking. They have to respect that either site could be right for the taking. RPK is going to start to make a move. This is going to give some info. Not able to get a second, loses 79 health, but he's able to scamper off. He also had Happy behind him, who's also now dropped quite low. But it's a nice little power play that Envious went for. Has afforded them a bit of wiggle room now, but it's going to be Gambit who looked to bounce right back through team main and Pop Dog. Scream has been spotted, lands the dink, but it's not going to be good enough to deal with Dozier. Happy long range actually does connect onto Fitch, so this is now switching back in Envious's favor. 20 seconds. Mo with the plant. XMS going to peek. They nearly line up for him. He's seen the second player, but Mo too fast with his AWP. And he was absolutely ridiculous earlier on this map. It's clearly one that he loves playing. Second flick. This time RPK looking for the third, and he's nailed it onto Happy. Gambit on the scoreboard. All thanks to their AWP. Monster performance.
Yeah, the absolute hero play from Mo. I thought RPK had his number. I mean, RPK had that fast flank down through ladder. Not only that, but Mo almost got lined up by XMS early on by Ivy. And so there was a lot stacked against Mo, but he still makes it work with the quad kill. So well done. He finally... Oh, hello. I don't think I've ever seen people get stuck there before. That was pretty insane. Just 3 people got stuck. Definitely slows them down from getting into outside. Won't play a factor in the round, though. This game, it's taking it pretty slow. Looking for triple Ivy.
As per usual, though, although it was a sick clutch, I think it was a 1v3 in the end by Mo with his ult. Ultimately, if they falter now, it's all for naught. In actual fact, they'll be in serious trouble. Envious themselves, though, aren't great shape in terms of their finances. This could be a 2-for-1 round, whichever way it goes. Ivy has been vacated by Envious. They're playing more passive. 3 players, actually, at the backside of Ivy. 2 of which are the XMS and Scream, pushing up as a united force. XMS is about to get spotted. Scream can't get the avenging frag. He simply can't see, and Mo is going to drill Sixer from outside. It looked like it was going to be going all the way of Envious. This would be a horrible round to let slip, but now Scream from the shadows is going to bounce with 2 kills. Mo is going to be the second victim. Scream for the assailant cannot be stopped. Fitch next up to the chopping block, and RPK will finish off the remains of Hobbit. Envious have done it. They hold on. Gambit have been reset.
Indeed, they have great work from Scream, just getting around that smoke at Ivy, and despite the fact Gambit was making some real headway into the outer bomb site, Scream was able to cut it off with the hat trick. As you noted, he's been brilliant this tournament, really helping Envious along and perhaps booking them tickets to New York if things keep up like this, because they're up 5-1 and Gambit is on essentially a full save, just the 250 for Adren. Everyone else on Glocks. They're looking to pounce on this inner bomb site. To be fair, that's kind of the tried and true way to eco train. Just hope you can get down there and get a bomb plant. That's certainly the goal that Gambit's going to have in mind as they start storming down the lower ramp. But Happy is cutting them off with the M4, but they do make their way in. The plant will happen. That's all they wanted.
Yep, that is the mission. They've accomplished it. They can die happy, knowing there's going to be more funds allocated to them in round 8. But this one is done. 6-1. Can go for another op. It would be glass cannon. I'm curious to see if they go for it. No, Mo's going to go for an AK instead. So full on AKs, full on smokes for potential execute.
Indeed, they have plenty of Molotovs and smoke grenades. I mean, they could do outside smoke walls on the bomb train with this, as well as some Molotovs by camera to push GTs out of position. They could also do one of their patented inner executes they love to do as well. 6 are going to get aggressive on Ivy. This will give him some information. Actually doesn't catch anyone lining up a nade, though. Like, no one's deep enough towards him to be spotted. So he'll just kind of maybe fade back in as these nades are pouring over. So it will be that bomb trade smoke while we were talking about.
Go for the boost on the train over the smoke. We actually saw Gambit do this earlier. It was Fitch that went up there. The idea is that you mitigate any of the issues that the smoke will bring to you. Another boost on the connector box. Adren was already waiting for it, but XMS is going to fire back and charge Dreno off the server. Fitch goes in for another one. Gambit trying to turn their fortunes around again. Good position to strike onto RPK. He's got himself focused elsewhere, and RPK is actually in this round all of a sudden. In a heartbeat, he's made this a 1v1, and Dozier has less health. He comes around this corner, Dozier, with perfect timing. He's getting charged down, and RPK, the tank, again blitzing everybody.
Oh, he didn't find the bomb!
Mate, get the bomb! RPK,
Oh, no!
No!
He went in the smoke and tapped his key, but he didn't find it, and he had to just leave because he wouldn't get on it fast enough. Oh, that hurts. He played it so well, he got the frags.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a moment of silence for RPK? Thank you. Alright, RPK. Never forget.
Is there even a chance that he wouldn't have had enough time anyway? I wonder.
I'm pretty sure he did. If he got it straight away, I think he'd had it.
I was trying to see if there was any redeeming factors we could pull out, but that's rough.
This is where we find out he wouldn't have enough time. And he's just played it to perfection. I'm pretty sure he did have enough time, though. If he got straight on the defuse, I think he would have just about had it.
I mean, you think if he actually just wanted to save the gun, he just would have ran into Teton, right? Because he wanted to die into the explosion, so yeah.
Meanwhile, Envious now going to concede the subsequent rounds, and those are the kind of moments that can really tilt you. I mean, RPK 12-4 has had a stellar train thus far. Take nothing away from him. To even be in a position where the failed defuse can come into play is because off the back of him pulling off a 1v3 ultimately. But I just hope that they can keep their heads high and realize, okay, we're still a map up, we're still a 6-3 up, we can still easily win this and go to New York. Let's not give it away.
Yeah, they still have a good lead here on their CT side train, and they still do have the economy of GAMBIT somewhat in check, but their own is exposed, to be fair. They're quite vulnerable in that regard. If this buy doesn't work out, they don't have an AWP this time around in Sixer's hands, but XMS getting aggressive in T-Con with the rifle certainly could net him a frag later on if GAMBIT do try to roll into some type of outer execute, which that looks to be the case, to be fair. So if XMS is patient enough, certainly could find himself getting a little bit of something out of his spot.
Screen flashing over actually towards Team Main. Could be baiting GAMBIT out into assuming that someone's pushing in Team Main right now. And XMS is there. He's in wait. He has the perfect angle to fire on Adren. He switches attention elsewhere. He's been dinked, but happy. He's going to take down Fitch. The bomb's been dropped just above Pop Top. This is brutal. GAMBIT cannot afford this, and Happy in the meanwhile has looked his way into position to shoot Mo from behind. This has just been an absolute catastrophe for GAMBIT. Hobbit all that remains. He's on B. He managed to snake his way all the way around into Connector. He should at least get a free frag onto XMS. But nope. XMS? What?
The Spidey senses, dude, they're tingling. XMS's alter ego is damn Peter Parker over there. What a joke. Like, just if you're a Hobbit, you're just like, come on, man. Give me a break.
Had a heart attack there, hasn't he? Danem is watching that back.
Yep.
Crisp, clean look.
Unreal. That's actually one of the most brutal CT rounds I've seen on Train, though. Like, just think about it. Like, they push Econ, they push Inner Halls, just absolutely suffocate GAMBIT. Put them in the rear naked choke right there, and now it is a 7th for Envy. Gotta fear the reset, though.
Could be the reset. It could now be Envious who are going to be struggling. Hanging by a thread, RPK once again wants to make amends, and he'll do just that. No worries about defuses this time. He gets slapped.
Man, oh man, Envious, they're starting to get back into a rhythm here. They've won a couple in a row, money's still low, but there's not a whole hell of a lot that GAMBIT can do about it in this round. They will get some upgraded pistols and head armor. They do have a little bit of utility to do the smoke wall on Bomb Train and get a couple of Molotovs out there and do that same outer execute we saw a few rounds ago. But that's really about it, and instead they'll actually be looking to do something over at Ivy. They do get one player out, Adren into Olaf. So they can start staging for an outer execute, and they do get the first kill on the Sixer.
MB are hoping for another clutch at this stage. It may not come down to that if they can position correctly and get the crossfires in effect. GAMBIT only have 3 Tech 9s and a UMP and a very low Hobbit and Fitch. Mo from behind is going to get taken out from RPK. 15-4 he currently is, by the way.
It's just Envy still in a tough spot because they don't really know where this bomb is headed. They do still have Happy inside Enter to keep an eye on that, but Dozier is also in kind of a tricky spot that MPK just doesn't even realize. So free kill for Dozier. Happy is in CT spawn to perhaps get the trade. Does blindside Dozier, but that means the bomb's going to make its way in now. There's no one left to greet them as they go for the plant.
However, in terms of retake, with both players being so low, this is definitely still in the realms of possibility. No molly for GAMBIT either. It's a tried and true tactic to plant the bomb at the backside, throw the molly out from Catwalk. and ultimately burn anyone to a crisp that tries to defuse. They're not going to have that up their sleeve. They both come down from ramp. They're both dead men. XMS with one. He only tapped the bomb, though. Need to hold on to that. They think that someone might be up in catwalk, and he gets peek from ramp again, but Hobbit is so low that he can't feasibly get it done. It's going to be close, but Happy has the defuse. 9-3.
Oh, NG has continued to roll out a big CT side here. That one round they lost kind of becomes a distant memory at this point because they've capitalized on every other opportunity that's come their way. As Gambit are still unable to really get a whole heck of a lot going, even despite getting the bomb plant in the previous round. Their buy is very limited, and they're running out of rounds to get things done here on their T side.
Yeah, time and amounts of rounds left is going to start to become a factor now for Gambit. It's all well and good saving, taking weapons away from Envious in previous rounds, but you've got to start to convert that now. It's no longer good enough. Connect the dots, pick yourself up. I'd say at least 5 rounds against Envious on T side. Anything less than that, it's going to be a real uphill climb. RPK on the spools is going to hear footsteps to his left-hand side. There's one. Turning his attention up the catwalk. He doesn't really have any help, though, and Scream has gone down now. That puts RPK in a horrible position. He will follow his fallen comrade to the grave. XMS now trying to make something happen on the flank, and suddenly the kill's all going the way of Envy. Hobbit's going to use that smoke and fade away into the shadows of Mordor. Oh, had to do it. Happy kills him.
Been waiting for a Lord of the Rings reference all day on Hobbit. Finally had it. Had to cut you off.
GG.
Yeah. Come on, Shadows of Mordor. I thought you were going to say it, and then you didn't. I was a little disappointed.
That's the game, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't that keen on the game. I know I'm in the minority, but it didn't really do anything for me. Yeah. You can send your hate mail to me on Twitter. If I just triggered you.
And also, get ready to send Envious some plane tickets to New York at this point. They're up 10-3. Already won the first map as well, so things are looking quite bright for them. Gambits do have a buy into this one, but the utility is just so low, and they don't have an AWP in play either. They have to just rely on winning straight-up aim duels. It's got to come down to brute force alone, essentially, for them, as Adrin does get out into the outer yard, and he's making some havoc. Happy eventually silences him, but the damage has been done.
Or has it? Has the damage been done, or are Envious able to dodge again? Almost a guaranteed round. 6 up. He's going to hear the noise. Hobbit's a dead man. He'll trade up for the AK on top of that. If he gets Dozier here, things are going to get interesting. But why is Dozier peeking him? Just back away. Get the bomb planted. Get a crossfire set up. This is such a hard site to retake. Especially when you're outnumbered. But now, Sixer has a very real possibility of taking this 1v3 clutch. It's still asking a great deal from him. He has no kit. It's not like he can just defuse in the smoke. And he may get found out anyway by Fitch, who's going to go for the spray, and he will clutch for Gambit. But, man, Gambit, you're playing yourself into horrible positions.
Yeah, they get a bit dodgy there, but winning that round is great, because even though Envious were winning those rounds in a row, the last few rounds they only had 2 players surviving, so a lot of rebuying has happened for Envious in the past few rounds. And so they are actually run dry for the last round of the half, so Gambit may finally have themselves an easier time. As I say that, Envious have done a lot of damage on these types of rounds against Gambit, and they're going to be rushing inner halls, and wouldn't you know it, they're going to catch them in a real awkward position, but Fitch is able to recover it with the spray down, so there will be no forced bot shenanigans this time, unless Happy, somehow by himself here at Ivy, is able to work a miracle. But no, Mo waiting for it, and that's going to be 5 rounds for Gambit.
Straight up, Fitch slaps, mate. Destroyed.
Fitch slaps, solid one. That's a good shout.
I said before, if they could get 5 rounds and Gambit is still in this. He did. I still feel like that's the case. There were some really questionable decisions, to be fair, though. on that T side, but now they can play more of a turret role on Mo, and this is where he really shone for me earlier. He was on the CT side with an AWP in his hands. He just completely cleaned up with Big. Keith couldn't really hang with him at all.
So we'll have to see if Gambit can stay alive here. They are 5 behind still. Envious moves on to their T side with a good lead and with the map advantage as well. Remember, they did take Nuke in pretty convincing fashion, if we're fair.
Yep. That definitely is fair. Could have been even more one-sided as well. Gambit made a bit of a go of it towards the end.
Gotta feel like Gambit really needs this pistol, though. You let Envious roll off to a 3-0 start, and things are going to get a lot more difficult on you. Especially being on the CT side, where the economy is a much bigger factor with the expenses of guns and utility that you'd want to put a stop to any type of quick pushes and things of that nature.
So in terms of tactics, Dust, you are somebody that I know goes through a whole lot of demos with all these
Nope,
things.
actually, barely know anything at all about this game, Vince.
GG.
Go ahead, though. What are you going to ask?
Anything that's going to stand out to you in terms of Envious on their attacking side? Anything we should watch out for?
I mean, definitely a team that likes to be more aggressive, likes to be faster paced. I mean, Gambit obviously much more well known for being kind of a slow, steady. Let's let the Hobbit work inner halls. Let's let Dozier work Ivy. Let's work a default. Throw in some inner executes here and there. Envious is definitely a team that can be much more in your face, much more fast paced with some other outer executes. Definitely a team that likes to, do those different smoke walls and things like that outside. They also like the triple Ivy type stuff that you saw Gambit kind of throwing in here and there in the first half. Obviously, Happy liking to lurk and doing these 1-4 type things is also something that could still happen. So that's just kind of a couple of cliff notes, but the pistol will be kind of the tell-all here, as it will in fact be that triple Ivy setup we were talking about coming out here and now. A Sixer will be the one guy with utility, so maybe looking just to smoke off back halls so they can sweep through.
Well, Gambit did see via Hobbit, I believe that was, a couple players on Ivy. I don't think they saw the bomb, though, so it's not going to tell them a huge amount just yet. But even if they did, with so much time left, it's not really valuable information past 10 or 15 seconds. RPK and Dozier in a duel to the death. And looks like there's going to be some backup, though, coming into the fray. Both players survive, but taking a chunk of damage. It's being chipped away. Down to Pop Dog, they will traverse instead. Dozier's going to go looking up, and Six has been brutalized. He had a nade out, I think. Was lining up a flash or a smoke. The bomb also dropped, going to scamper across, pick that up for themselves. About 30 seconds left now. Dozier with one of the cheekiest peeks that you'll see. Hobbit trying to tee off for the rest of his team on the USPs, but Happy. He's going to disperse him from the side, and then Mo just walks out and gets the same thing. His temple caved in. Oh, Dozier and Adren. The horrible task of retaking a 2-on-4. There's the first one, but his teammates got down. Dozier's picked up 2. 3 in the round in total. He's actually on for the ace. This is doable. He's already taken down 80% of the team. He's got 1 more to go. XMS up in heaven. He's going to wait for the right moment to strike with the Glock. Doesn't want to make any mistakes. What a strange round this has turned out to be. Dozier is checking every single corner. Needs to get a move on. He doesn't have a kit. In the meanwhile, the bomb is planted for XMS, and he just has to do his peek. He's going to get the kill, Dozier, but he doesn't have a kit. And reminiscent to our PK, nice try, but not close enough.
Technical ace, though, so still got the ace. Give him that. But unfortunately, it just doesn't matter enough. Not enough time to defuse. Definitely a tough spot to be in when you're clearing everything and you think, surely he would have shot at me from heaven if he was in there. And he doesn't. And so you feel the need, I got to clear all this. One of those situations, usually you like to just tap the bomb to draw them out. But without a kit, I mean, XMS isn't really incentivized to ever peek you until, 8 or so seconds are up. So it can be very hard to play that out, as Envious will make it 11-5. It's kind of a crazy round because you know Sixer was going for a fake with all that utility, but he gets caught, so he doesn't get to throw the nades, but the fake is still sold because Dozier spots the bomb. And so you see Happy lurking out Ivy and able to really capitalize on the outer side because of it, so still works out in the end for Envious as they will continue to roll up their lead now as they have the MAC-10s and UMPs in play. Already one frag, looking for another, and there it is.
What makes that last round even more ridiculous, I was just watching that back, because I don't know about you, but I was watching from XMS's perspective. Dozier went up the ladder and he saw XMS ahead and he just didn't register it.
Oh, okay.
He saw him peek out. You could see it clearly on the stream. Maybe before the 3 comes in, but I really don't think it did. It was pretty central on the screen. Anyway, whatever. Talking over this round as it is somewhat of a
wipe
massacre. Yeah, there's not too much to talk about, really. What a strange round, but all the same, it's going to be Envious now. 4 rounds away, or 4 wins away, I should say, from New York.
And this one should be a lot less strained. They're up against just USPs from GAMBIT, so this should be where they put in the easy work. This is where they should be printing money with these SMGs and beginning to load up the car to ride out into the sunset if they can finish things in the opening gun round.
MAC-10's are going to get so much money on board for Envious now. Maybe not required. UMPs are doing all the work. It looks like it is going to be flawless. Fitch with his USP. They get a kill. 13-5. When you consider that Envious have 3 players around 8,000 or more, they're in pretty good shape. That will probably dwindle down as you're expecting at least some of these weapons to get upgraded. There's a Naught picked up, so 6 are down to 3.2. Scream's taken an AK for himself alongside RPK, so some of those money mats have been dented.
Yep.
Still very impressive.
This is pretty much for the game, by the way, because if Envious wins this, GAMBIT are in a forced buy to survive scenario, and here comes that fast-paced play we were talking about. RPK's already run all the way through to Ivy and taken down Hobbit and sweeping around. The utility pours in, and RPK continues to go to work. Finds a second entry as well. 6 are chiming in. This could be the beginning of the end. Everyone is falling for GAMBIT.
Fitch, point-blank range. As the barrel of the gun put in his head. And now Dozier backing away to try and save. He's going to be cut off by Happy's UMP. From bad to worse, it's looking like Envious are destined to go to New York this year.
Indeed it is, and it's almost like it's destined for the grand finals to sometimes be the most dominant series in tournaments. I feel like that's been true for a lot of LAN events. Like the semifinals always wind up being closer than the grand finals for whatever reason. This has been the case this tournament as well. This has probably been the most one-sided series we've seen the whole way through, if it continues on like this. Let's see what GAMBIT can do. They obviously force up what they can. They don't want Envious for getting a free series point.
With such a lack of nades and no kits, GAMBIT may feel forced into playing aggressive and trying to take the fight to Envious. Hobbit originally was starting to poke up Ivy, but decided bet Rovit and backed off. Fitch just outside of Pop. And rotating through connector.
I was on Dozier's point of view, and he was just kind of staring at the sky. It was really weird.
Doesn't really surprise me.
Dang, all right.
Well, he's an interesting dude. Let's leave it there.
Me thinking about vodka.
Seconds.
Shout
I could do with a few shots right now. Have to wake me up. XMS is going to go into a Dren. 40 seconds left. This is not aging well for GAMBIT. Flashes. At least Fitch is going to get one, but traded out instantly. As will be the same case with Bobbin. Screen waiting in Pop Dog. Last player very likely will be pushing him. It's Fuzzy. It's coming down slow. He will just get drilled. 10-round lead.
Yeah, this is really getting near the end. Gambit will have to march forward 10 rounds in a row to force us into overtime just to have a chance to force a third map. So the odds are really stacked against them. They have a lot of work to do now in these finals. Meanwhile, Envious just need to punch one more. It just takes one mistake, one slip up from Gambit, one piece of imperfection, and Envious will be booking their tickets for New York for September, and RPK is already on the way there with a couple of entries into the outer yard.